Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, welcome to New Life Live. Really glad you're with us today. It's a special day. Dr. John Townsend is going to join us here in just a few minutes. He's got a brand new book, and you're going to want this. It's People Fuel. And anybody that's been a people fool, you will love this book, People Fuel. And we're going to talk about that. And Dr. Dave Stoop is in. It's like old time week or day. And but first,
glad you didn't say old folks. I like old time a lot better.
No, that's not good. That is not good. Anyway, if you want to join us, it's 1-800-229-3000. But Larry Sonnenberg and I just got back from a gathering in Washington, D.C. We had just an amazing time meeting with some families there. Last time we met with them, they were concerned about New Life, summer slump, that kind of thing, and they put together about $150,000 and asked folks like you that are listening to match it. And this time we met with those folks, and Larry, it was quite a improvement.
Yeah,
I mean, it was amazing.
It was pretty special. You know, last time it was $167,000. This past weekend it's $324,000.
There
Goodness.
you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty nice. And they're asking folks to come along and match what they did this year the way they did the last time they did it, right?
Right. They'll match what comes in up to that amount between now and July 31st.
Okay.
And it was a special event. You know, there were a few folks that we invited that also participated in that amount that couldn't come, but they wanted to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. But we were blessed to go on a little spend a little time with Dr. Ben Carson.
Oh. And and his wife, who was
she's dynamite.
A major force in the universe. Mm. I mean, she is something else, and he is just one very, very brilliant, wonderful human being to be around. Yeah,
you know, I've been mentioning that we need the tortoise and the hare. We have been talking about Club New Life recently, but this is the hare. We need that bump.
Yeah.
And
we do.
This would be very special if you could come up alongside of us, folks. Mm-hmm. It means continuing to do what we do, expanding it where we can, and just making life better for people who are hurting.
Yeah, and anybody making a one-time gift, we have a gift. It is a little insulated shopping tote bag. It's big, and you can take it to the store, and it keeps things hot or cold, whichever. And that's just our way of saying thank you. But really, it's a great time to double whatever you want us to do and support us with. We hope it motivates you. We want to thank you, and so thankful for all the people that gave, so that maybe someone like you would double what you would normally give, because they're going to match it up to over $300,000. Thank you, Larry. We'll hear from you later again.
Sir.
But God bless you. John Townsend, welcome, my friend. How you doing?
Thanks, Steve. Great to be here with the team.
I guess so. I mean, it's been a few months since you've been here, and you know, I get books all the time across the desk here. I love your cover. First of all, that's pretty cool, because it's a fuel gauge and it's on full. And
you want your fuel gauge on full?
Yeah. And how many of us are running around? And you probably even today you had that thought, boy, I'm either running on empty, or my tank needs something, and this is going to be a great book for you, because it's all about filling up your tank. What do you fill it with? Well, life and love and
the
leadership.
right kind of people. The right kind of people.
That's right.
We want you to have the gains and not the drains.
Yeah. So we have other things that rhyme. We've got other alliteration we're going to share with you here. But if you want to join us, 1-800. Yeah, 1-800-229-3000, and can't wait to talk to you right after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. June 28th to the 30th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Yeah, we're back. Steve Arterburn here, Dr. Dave Stoop, and Dr. John Townsend. Of course, most people know John and from Boundaries and things like that. They also know you, John, from the Leadership Institute that's doing so well. But here's the new book, and let's just encapsulate the goal here. You want somebody to read this book, and when they're done, here's what's different.
Here's what's different. Think about your bionutrients and staying healthy, Steve. If we don't have enough calcium in our body, we get bone problems. If we don't have enough iron, we get, anemia. Well, the model of the book, People Fuel, is that we're supposed to be not bionutrients for each other, but relational nutrients. We give each other things that we need in order for our brains to survive, and it happens not in a pill, but in a conversation. So one nutrient would be the ability to be present. Sometimes you don't need advice from somebody when you're challenged. You just need them to give you eye contact and be there. Sometimes you do need advice. Sometimes you need encouragement. Sometimes you need challenge. Sometimes you need wisdom. So the book lays out what we need from each other the way God says it in the Bible about how important we are to each other and what to do specifically about it. Very, very practical on how to get the most out of your conversations and maximize your gain relationships and prune back your drain relationships.
Yep. Just last night I was talking to a young man and I said, when you get paralyzed, when you're so in your head that you're having a hard time figuring stuff out and you're obsessing over it, why don't you just stop and go find some eyeballs and connect, eyeball to eyeball, whether it's a peer, somebody younger, older, but just see if getting out of yourself doesn't but it was because I was thinking about you coming on. I was thinking this is how we get fuel for the soul, and talk about how this I think is a really interesting concept, that vulnerability, which a lot of people avoid at all costs, vulnerability is one of the greatest keys to keeping that tank full.
Well, yeah, think about going to the doctor and the doctor says, so why are you here? And you go, no, I don't want to tell you. Well, why not? Well, I'm not comfortable here. Okay, so what are we going to do? I don't know. That's not being vulnerable. And the doctor's not going to give you a pill or surgery or anything because you got to tell him what's going on so that he or she can help. Well, God made up a system. If you look at, for example, 1 Peter 4:10, it says that we are the stewards of God's manifold grace. We're supposed to be delivering the pill of grace to each other, but how can you get it if you're not vulnerable? So it means you've got to talk openly to safe people, not crazy people, but good people about your struggles and your losses and your weaknesses and your failures. And that's not being a loser, that's being a winner, because now people can give you what you need to encourage you and help you heal.
John, there's another reason that people need to keep that people fuel in there. And that's because when we're running on empty, when we're weak, when we're acting out of weakness and emptiness, we fuel another sick person. We enable them to gain strength and power and control. And boy, that's the worst thing ever, because our little sad life may not affect much except for our own pain. But boy, that person out there that's feeding off our weakness, that's horrible.
Yep. And we call that enabling, and we call that rescuing others. And so,
you know what else we call it?
What?
Stupid. So
David, I would say that's the good technical psychological term.
That's the no. It isn't
That
stupid.
works.
It's not a volitional thing. It's not something that you say, okay, here's a smart decision, here's a dumb one. You're so out of fuel, you're not able to make that rational decision.
Right.
I'm curious. Do you have a solitude nutrient?
A solitude nutrient.
Because sometimes when I get run down, I need to have solitude.
Well, we discussed that a lot in the book, Dave, is the idea that sometimes, especially if somebody's got a high I, introvert, they need to get, everybody needs cave time. And so it's sort of like, what do you do when you come out of the cave?
Yeah.
So, we just need to know, the whole idea of the book is you need to need. Stop saying I need to give all the time, because if you don't need sometimes, that tank's going to be crazy.
You're trying to pour the drink for somebody out of an empty pitcher.
Yeah, and you're pouring air and dust, aren't you?
All right. It's People Fuel. Fill your tank for love and life and for the leadership that you can do. John Townsend's book. We've got it. If you want to order a copy, you call us right now. We'll get it for you. Right now, let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Vicki, Richmond, Virginia. She has called us on 1-800-229-3000. She listens online. Vicki, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay, what's going on?
I am thinking about restoring my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Been separated for 9 months.
You've been separated for 9 months?
Yes, we've been separated for 9 months.
Okay.
No
What
contact
what have you guys done to fix some stuff that led to that separation? Anything?
We just had our first marriage counseling with our pastor, but prior to that, I refused to speak with him at all. I actually had a protective order, and there was no communication. I was just done. I was going through with the divorce. It's final in September. But I recently have feelings that maybe I should give him another chance before it's final.
Well, why the protective order? Why the protective order? What was going on there that you needed that?
He was very emotionally abusive, very intimidating, actually threatened my life if I even mentioned divorce. And then when I finally was like, I can't take this anymore, he just straight up told me he would kill me. And
goodness.
Well, for you to be for you to consider putting things back together, he must have made some dramatic changes. What's different about him?
Just he was very unsociable. Like, he didn't speak to people. Very uptight. Just always had a chip on his shoulder. Anger problems, just cussing and road rage, and didn't want to work. So,
what did he do to fix that?
Vicki, let me kind of rephrase the question. You said after 9 months you want to reconcile. Now, it's either because he has made dramatic changes, as Steve is saying, or it's because he hasn't changed, but you're sort of a hopeful person and you miss what could be.
Well, I believe his spirit and his personality has changed. I've kind of tested him in different ways, and
we need some specifics there, Vicki. Actually, the three of us are concerned with threats of death and emotional abuse. We need some specifics on the dramatic changes, if you wouldn't mind.
He just seems more happier, more carefree. He seems to be more patient.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's getting nicer to you. So what's your question for us? Tell us the question.
Well, my question is, how do I mend this without isolating myself? Because my family and my friends are not going to approve of this. They absolutely don't want to hear any words of it. And I feel like I'm going to go back to being isolated. And
I think, Vicki, you answer that question that Steve and John asked you in terms of how has he different, and use that with the people that tend to isolate you, and saying, I'm looking at the possibility again because I see some major changes in him, and to be able to articulate those changes.
But Vicki, here's the danger. Here's the danger. A person that goes to the dark side to the extent of threatening to kill somebody, when they don't get their way, they can go to the happy side as a manipulation. They can go to the, oh, look how different I am side, and they've gone so dark, they don't really have to do a lot to look different. And then once they get what they want, you discover that that was more of a manipulative act than it was sincere character development.
Exactly. Vicki, my heart kind of sank when you said, we all said, what changed? And because I just so wanted you to say, he's sorry. He's so devastated on how he's treating me. He's so broken. We call that repentance in the Bible, and it's always the first step to growth. And we didn't hear it. We heard, well, he's nice to me and positive. And if a person doesn't feel, I have wounded you, scared you, I've been a monster to you in so many ways, that's the only thing that gives us hope. So we're trying to be loving and caring, but we got to be honest. So here's how you handle the isolating my friends thing. You go to that counselor and you tell them, we got to do work. It's very serious. And you do the work, and you do everything the counselor says if they're a good counselor. And the counselor will tell you when and if he is safe to be cohabitating with. And the counselors, that's their job, to say, not safe yet. Not safe yet. May take a year. I don't know. And when your friends say, you're doing what? You go, yeah, we're staying separated. And we're not going to go in together until the licensed person tells us that he's passed all the tests of safety. So, no, I'm not moving back in with Sam. But we are at work because I want to try to make it work. And then most people will say, well, I'll be praying for you, watch out. And you'll say, yeah, thank you for your concern, pray for us. But that's how you handle that. And you don't tell them we're moving back in. You say we're getting help. That's the answer. That's
really the only question you have to answer is, how many sessions would you require of him to go with you to get help before you would be willing to consider getting back together?
And not once a month, not once every 2 weeks. We're talking once a week here. It's that serious.
You need a third party there. I wouldn't be talking to my friends about him until I had information. And you don't have information about him until you're sitting in front of a wise counselor who can say to you, I know what you're saying here, or say to him, I know what you're saying, but I'm not seeing that. And I got to tell you, there was a person that hurt me one time, and here's what that person said to me. What I did to you is the absolute most regrettable thing I've ever done in my life. There was no happiness there.
That gives us hope.
There was brokenness and repentance. And I wish that's what I had heard. That you've seen a broken man, not a happy man. What has he said to you about his death threat?
He said he was very, very sorry, and he understands. And people say stuff like that all the time, and they don't mean it. And he was just angry.
All of a sudden he went to talking about the death threat he made. And then he's starting to talk about death threats other people make, and they don't. I mean, that's horrible.
That's called minimizing. The technical term is minimizing, Vicki. So we love you. We're seeing orange flags, some reds.
We love you enough.
We gave you the advice.
Yeah, I know what you want to hear and but oh my goodness, we've heard of some desperate people who became dead people because they believed something versus verified. And that's what we want you to do.
There you go.
Is verify it's a real change. All right. I am so glad you called, and I'm going to send you a copy of John's book here, and I hope there's something here that you will really cling on to. Because the thing is, once you get with him, if you don't have all those people around you, then you're destined to have a miserable life. You can't live your life for other folks, but you do need to live your life with other folks.
There's a chapter there, Vicki, called Contaminants, about how do you know if somebody will contaminate you or not, and that would apply to your situation.
All right. I'm really glad you called. You hold on. We're going to get this to you. People fuel. There it is. And I hope and pray if anything we've said here to Vicki, one of the things that John and Henry taught me long ago is there is a lot of difference between hope and wishing. And sometimes we have false hope because what we're doing is really just wishing that things would be better. And we want to prevent that any way possible. John's got a great chapter here on the trunk of character. And when you read this, you come to understand, character is not just saying good morning and opening the door for somebody. It's the core of who a person is. It's the trunk, as he says. We'll be back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. And some of us, maybe you have somebody around you that's a real energy drain here. And John helps you try to figure out who are the drains, who are the people that really build you up there. How do you know the difference? How do you develop those healthy relationships? The book is called People Fuel. And
Sometimes, Steve, you get lunch with somebody and you feel like, boy, that was a great lunch. They believe in me. I believe in myself. I'm going to go, I'm going to go kick butt, and I'm going to do great as a parent and in my job. Mm-hmm. And there's some people you have lunch with and you go away, you go, I need a nap.
Yeah. Or you fall asleep during the lunch.
Right. So you got to make the difference there. It's all about that.
Yeah, and just a really important thing to evaluate. Do I have any good positive stuff coming in from the people I work with, the people I love, people I'm around? And if not, man, there is stuff you can do. This book gives you a path. All right, let's go to Eastville, California. KKLA is the most amazing station there that is listened to by EG. Hi there, how are you?
Hey, hello again, Steven.
Hi, what's going on?
Before I give you my question, here's a praise report. You ready?
Okay.
Well, I took you guys' advice. It didn't happen overnight, but guess what? I overcame my urge last May, and now I'm in the process of replacing those articles that I struggled with Christian articles.
Well, that's good. That's good. What can we help you with today? Helping you move forward.
Well, I'm in the process. Here's my question. how does a strong Christian become masculine without giving into the world's notion of masculinize yourself without emotion? And how does a strong Christian like me, Christian man, become romantic without giving into erotic desires? Masculine without being emotionless, and romantic without being sexual.
Yeah. Okay. Great question. Been asked by a few guys out there in the real world, and actually not asked by enough, because it's such an important question. John, you want to get us started here on this?
Yeah, E.G., nice to meet you. I think you had you've been on some other shows I haven't been on, and I'm writing down some notes, and you said, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. You said masculine instead of, what was the word?
Emotionless.
Emotionless?
Now, here's what I was saying. I want to be. How does a strong Christian man become masculine without being emotionless? Because the world tells us it's
emotionless.
Without cutting off emotions. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Or how to be romantic without being sexual. Well, just don't listen to culture. That's number one. But really, E.G., the way that God has designed us on a developmental level, it just doesn't happen if you're around Him and healthy people, and you're reading your Bible and you're looking inside, and you've got people that I think you said you're starting counseling. God developed it so that masculinity and emotionality occur at the same time. Now the culture would say, no, this is a zero-sum game. As you increase in masculinity, you decrease in feelings, and as you increase in feelings, you decrease in masculinity. It's not a zero-sum game, E.G. It's a both and. So just make sure that when you are developing your strength, and you want to be a loving person who has power and choices and all those good things that men are supposed to have, that the number one thing is that you have some place to bring your vulnerability, your weakness. When you're insecure, when you're scared. You know, the 5 insecure feelings are anger and anxiety and sadness and guilt and shame. They're where our deepest insecurities are. Just make sure you're talking to those, not only with God, but with great people who will say, I get it, I get how you feel, and they'll reinforce your feelings. It's called being emotional, having emotional intelligence. Develop your ability to talk about emotional intelligence of those 5 feelings with people, and it will integrate in the rest of your personality. It's not a problem.
The other part of it too, E.G., is to work at not objectifying women, but getting to know them as a person, and even if you feel romantic towards them, getting to know them and see them as a person, as a whole person, not as an object that I can lust after.
And let me just go a step further there, and not watch anything online or on television or at the movies that objectifies women. I mean, if you're seeing something and it's going to use a woman as an object of sexual gratification and all that, you're watching the wrong thing. You have to make a sacrifice there. You have to say, I can't do this. I can't sign up for that video thing. I can't have my cell phone by my bed when I'm alone, or whatever it is you need to do. You have to make some sacrifices, because I'll tell you, this is one objectifying of women society that we live in. So I'm going to send you this book, because I'll tell you, it really helps you see yourself as a whole human being, and that helps you see people, women, as whole human beings, not just some object for your gratification. All right, really glad you called. Want to remind everybody, we've got a matching gift. It is a fantastic insulated thermal tote bag with the New Life logo on there, and it's beautiful. It's blue and all silver inside, because that's what insulation is. It's silver. And it's brilliant. It knows what to keep hot and what to keep cold. Not at the same time. But anyway,
don't even have a switch for it. It just does it automatically.
That's right. Our way of saying thank you for supporting New Life. Every dollar becomes $2. Every $1,000 becomes $2,000 right now with this matching gift. All right, we'll take a break and come back with one of the great guys in the entire world. One of the greatest guys in the entire world. Dr. John Townsend, author of People Fuel.
blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, July 19th to the 21st. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Last year, after Every Man's Battle, I was so moved by the transformation that I saw not only in myself, but in the guys in our small group and the other people that were there and the stories that I heard, that I decided to go ahead and join Club New Life as a contributor to that.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
You guys are doing God's work here. You're restoring marriages. You're giving people hope. It's just been such a blessing to me, and I just wanted to encourage you all. When you see something good that God's doing, just jump on that and help support that.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433.
Give your support to them if you can, and just help them do what God's doing here in the world.
Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. Glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We're glad you're with us. 1-800-229-3000. Dr. John Townsend is going to be with us for another program after this. He's the author of a lot of really helpful books, Boundaries being one of them, Leading. What's the best leading book you've done? It's
Leading from Your Gut. It talks about leading from passion.
Yeah. And then here's this one, People Fuel. I love the cover, and I usually hate them all, but I love this one, and you'll love it too. So if you're really wondering, okay, where's this abundant life thing? I'm dying here. I'm depressed. I'm whatever. You got to try this book. And I think it's going to fill you up. So,
by the way, Steve, I'm really moved by the new $300,000 challenge. So I'm in. I'm going to go back to the office and put something in that. I want my gift to be doubled. I love the stewardship
John,
there. So
thank you for that.
You bet.
You're a generous person, and just to match what you're saying, I'm going to buy 2 copies of your book. So I just I feel like it's the least that I can do. Let's go to how about this? And by the way, in case you don't know, the first dance I ever had with my wife was with Dr. John Townsend's band right there in Dana Point. It was 17 years ago, John. Almost
before you were married, you were just starting to have some interest there.
Remember, we were dancing with a young woman. Remember we were dancing with the young woman in the wheelchair?
Yeah.
That was one of the most wonderful experiences.
Anyway, I was looking at my pictures of that last week and watching you dance with a gal in the wheelchair at the New Life retreat. Wonderful time.
No, I was not standing up on the arms.
No, you were
anyway, it was great. All right, let's go to Ray, Dallas, Texas. KWRD is the station. Hi there. How you doing, Ray?
Hello.
What's going on?
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's happening?
I'm trying to find out the best way to, reconcile with a family member when there's another person involved in the conflict.
Okay. Tell us what's happening.
Well, this has actually been going on for almost 15 years. 15 years ago, I wasn't a Christian at the time. I was sitting out with my daughter's boyfriend that he's much older than her. He's closer to my age, and I know that doesn't matter, but we're just kind of sitting out, and we were drinking.
I think it matters a lot, actually. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So we were drinking and smoking, and we pretty much we got inappropriate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't trying to hurt my daughter, but it really hurt her really bad. She doesn't know exactly what happened, but she feels like, something happened, and we just kind of brushed it under the rug. We didn't say anything else about it. And, but after all these years, she's still she doesn't, she basically hates me. She doesn't want to have anything to do with me. And I've asked her to forgive me for my part in that. And, but it's like she wants details, because we've tried to go to counseling, but it's like she says, I'm not going to let this go because she wants details. But I was told, it's not really good to give details when somebody else is involved. So I just really don't know how to handle it.
Okay, so what's the question for us then, specifically?
So the question is, I think, that, now I am a Christian. I've been a Christian for quite a while, several years now.
Yeah.
I really feel like I want to maybe confess, I guess, and tell her what happened, but I don't know how to go about doing that when this other person.
Okay. Well, Dave, why don't you get us started here, because I hear a sincerely contrite heart wanting to do the right thing, and I think we're going to help you here.
Yeah, well,
get started, Dave?
Ray, you just share what your part of the deal was. You don't need to share what the other person's part of the situation was, because you don't know for sure what that is. But
now, what does that mean, Dave? You just say what
you did.
Okay, so she did it with.
You did it with somebody else, but you do
something sexual. But it was something sexual, right?
And she's been told don't tell her. She's been told that not to tell her anything. And
that's why it's an open wound, because you haven't told her anything. You gotta confess, and unless you confess to her your part of it, and the factual parts that involve the other person too, there can't be any kind of healing, because that's what's necessary. And so you had some bad advice, and you don't want to protect the other guy, but you don't want to embellish on his motivations or anything like that.
John, before I just want to make a statement about what we tell folks. When we do restore, I hope this is the message that we get across to somebody who's been hurt, is that we tell them you're entitled to know all the details, but we hope that you're not going to need to hear those details, because it's hurtful to hear the details. Yeah. You just need to know in broad terms. But when we're talking to the men that have hurt them, we tell them we hope they don't need to know the details or want the details because of your spirit and your contrite heart and all. But they're entitled to know the details. And when I have been betrayed, every detail I learned was a detail I didn't need to know, and it was extremely, extremely painful. But see, you're not the one that can decide that. And she's saying, I can't let this go until I know. John, what's your take on this?
Yeah, but let me say this really quick. That the another part in it is that because like I said, this has been 15 years ago. But she's had kids by him now, and so it's like they're not together anymore. But she still has 2 kids by him.
John, what are your thoughts here? This is a very tough.
It is so difficult. I'm sorry to hear it, Ray. I thought about a million ways I could look at it diagnostically, but it just seems like when we have erred with someone like that, and we've hurt that person, and you did hurt your daughter, that they do deserve the details. But if she's requiring, there's going to be no forgiveness on my end, and I need to know this. You have to say, well, it could make you worse, and it could hurt you, but you did deserve to hear it because you sinned against me, Mom. I have to go with that.
Well, and you also want somebody there with you,
right,
as a counselor who will protect the process and set limits to how much you share. And,
that's good.
To pick up on what your daughter's feeling.
And one other thing, nothing ever resolves everything.
That is so true, Steve. Nothing resolves everything.
And if you think this is going to fix your relationship with your daughter, that would not be good, because it won't. And if she's thinking, once I know the details, everything's going to be great, that's not going to work. I mean, I tell people, even when a guy has been addicted to sex and porn, and he goes to every man's battle, and he absolutely is walking a life of integrity, it still doesn't eradicate the reality of all the other things in your life. Pay the bills, work issues and stuff. And the more we can come to not rely on the big event or one thing to fix all, I think the healthier that we are.
You know how I look at it, Steve, is things like what we're suggesting Ray do. It's like you open the door to the surgery room. Okay, now we're in the surgery room.
Okay.
We just opened that door. Yeah. Now get on the bed and let's get the docs around and get God around and do the healing. So it's walking into OR. That's what it does.
Sadly, a lot of the surgery we need to do, you're not anesthetized.
I wish.
But there may be one little piece of information that she's along to know, and she doesn't even know how to identify it. So you never know what's going to happen. Just trust it to the Lord and be open.
Well, let me send you a copy of Forgiving What You'll Never Forget. And it might be in this session with your daughter where, and I really believe it needs to be a third party. I think it needs to be a counselor
100%.
that can really help it.
Dave had a great idea there.
Maybe this would be a gift you could give her and say, I know this is going to be so hard if you'd ever forgive me. Bible says, in as much as it's up to you, you do the right thing. You can't control the outcome. But I hope and pray that this is going to be a good outcome. We're going to take a break and come right back for our final segment here, but we've got another program after this at 1-800-229-3000.
She said, we need to talk. She's asked me for the first time if I would consider myself a sex addict. I thought it was just about admitting the things that I had done wrong. I never had a clue that it was about redeeming our story. I thought it was just about coming clean on what I had done. I had no idea how to help her with her pain. She was a mess, I was a mess, and we got divorced. Going to EMB, surrounding myself with these other men, they accepted me for who I was and what I had done, but they challenged me to step up and do better. They'll be around other men who are not just pointing the finger, but willing to get in and wade through it with them, get in the trenches. They'll get hope from this workshop. Take my sweet wife and my story. We were divorced, remarried, and on our way to what I think will be the sweetest years of our lives. It's no longer simply about surviving. For the first time ever, we're thriving, we're enjoying where we're at.
Hey, listen, if you're struggling, we want to see you at the workshop. Give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Final caller here, but you can join us for the next program, 1-800-229-3000. By the way, tomorrow we're going to have another special guest. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you here. We're going to have a friend of the ministry on, and it's really, I hope that it's Brenda Crouch, and many of you know her from Christian television, but you come join us tomorrow also. But right now, let's our final caller for this program, Cindy, Denver, Colorado, KRKS. How you doing?
Hi, fine. How are you?
Good. What's going on with you?
Anyway, I had a comment to make. I listened to an archive show about a week or so ago, and I forget the name of the caller, but he called up and said that he was sort of complaining that you interrupted people.
Mm-hmm.
And he said there's people that are hurting, and he kind of chastised you a little bit. But I need to disagree with that because I feel like common sense says you just have limited time with everybody. You're like an emotional triage. You got to wrap them up really quick and then send them off to where they need to go. And it just kind of bothered me when I heard that because you do such good work. And then when you let people go on, they'll take up all your time because that's how people are. And I'm kind of learning from you how to cut people off because I'm around people that repeat and want to tell long stories. And
Steve doesn't cut them off; he redirects them. That's what he's good at.
Yes, well, that's what this guy was saying, and I was like, no, I'm learning.
Well,
but anyway, I just wanted to comment on that because and if you let them go on, then you just don't get enough calls in either. So there's other people on the line that aren't getting their problems.
Yeah. And we got to look at everybody, and I appreciate. By the way, just for your call, I'm going to send you this book. But with me having a short attention span and attention deficit disorder, I view like a long sermon or a long phone call very similar to a hostage situation. So I have to react accordingly, and I wish it was different. But I think if you listen to the program very much, you know my heart is just aching for people that are hurting, and I just want to get to the place where we can help them.
Well, also there's a group people can go to, Cindy, that Steve and Dave and I know real well. There's Al-Anon and there's Narconon. There's also on and on and on and on.
Yeah, that's right.
We can help you there.
Go there. We should direct more people there. Now we're just about out of time, and let me encourage anybody. Next program 1-800-229-3000. But if you need some help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you want to order John's book, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But John, what do you think is the most valuable thing that you've got here? What is it that people could benefit from the most in reading this great book, People Fuel?
If you ever felt exhausted because you're always the giver and the listener and the supporter and the helper and the leader and the mentor, and you think, I'm just kind of getting drained from all the giving, this book is about the fact that you need to get good things from people too, and in a way to ask for them and to participate with them. It gives you the skill to know, how can I get nutrients from others as well? That's a system God built in. So for all of you givers who are getting exhausted and tired, it's kind of your turn now.
And John, I want to say this. The other value of this book is to help you recognize that the people around you have some responsibility to them, and this shows you how to fuel other people without emptying out.
We fuel as we are fueled. Exactly, Steve.
That's right. All right. Well, I hope everybody knows this is just a fantastic book. Andy Stanley is one of the people that endorsed it and made the cover, unlike myself. And he's right. The energy for us to live, love, and lead well, he says. And he doesn't do that very often. You call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll get a copy of this for you. Now, I have to mention this, that we're doing a very special Every Man's Battle weekend. It's this Friday, and I hope you would join. It's in Cincinnati. A lot of you folks, you don't want to fly too far, and if you're in the Heartland area, here it is. Please come and be part of this, because summer can be a great time of victory for you if you need some help. We want to help you, but you have to call us, and if you've got financial difficulty of any kind, we've got scholarships that are available. It's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And then on the 28th, we're going to be in D.C. for Intimacy in Marriage, and as you know, a lot of people that were hopeless felt like they were helpless. They have come, and everything has changed as a result of that weekend with Mylon, Kay, myself. I think my whole family's going to be there that weekend in D.C. You come be with us June the 28th, and it's going to be a very, very great time. I'll also say Restore is July 19th in Dallas. Finding Freedom is September the 20th in Dallas. And then our 12 Steps to Happier conference. A lot of people never think about this, but one of the results of working the 12 steps of recovery for anything is you develop a place of happiness inside you. We're going to talk about that. It's going to be a great, great time. Whatever it is, whatever you need, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And don't forget that we've got 8 books as a thank you to any person that would sign up for Club New Life for $30. These are $129 worth of books, including Boundaries, Changes That Heal, Healing is a Choice, Intimate Deception, Forgiving What You Never Forget, Every Man's Battle, Secrets Women Keep, How We Love. All of those are in there, the best of the best that we have here at New Life. Our way of saying thank you for keeping Club New Life alive. Larry, one last time, would you talk about this amazing amount of money these people have put together for a matching fund for the summer?
Yeah, Steve, I got to thinking, these folks have challenged our audience to give $324,000, and they will match it. And I have people say to me all the time, I wish I could give more. They'll hand me a check and say, I wish it could be more. Mm-hmm. Well, it can right now.
Yes, that's right.
If you think, I've had people say, well, I was going to give $20, but that doesn't make a difference. Mm-hmm. Well, today that $20 is $40. Mm-hmm. And if you wanted to give $100, it's $200 that we would realize. 1,000 be 2,000. It's really the time that you could give more. And so if you would do that, if you would call our 800 number, 800-NEW-LIFE, or you could go online. You can give this online. There's a mail piece that's going out that you should get most any day if you're on our list. And if you're not on a list, shame on you. We want to send you letters every month so you'll give us money.
It's a shame-free zone, Larry.
Larry, I've never done this before, and I want people to know this. You would expect that I would give to this ministry. I started this ministry 31 years ago. But you're the one that always comes on and asks for money, and I want to tell people, and you can be mad at me later, but you are part of the matching fund. You gave money to that. You and Rhonda gave money as part of those folks that wanted money matched. And
as did you.
But I just want, you'd expect that from me, but I want people to know the guy that's asking you to support this ministry, you support this ministry in a sacrificial way, and this is just another example of it, and I'm just grateful for that, and I just hope people will follow your lead and others and help us this summer. Every dollar becomes $2, and whatever you can give, we're going to send you something worth more than, I don't know what it's worth, but it's a great gift. It's a great bag to take to the grocery store or camping or wherever. It's insulated, it's got our logo on it. Our way of saying thank you. Now, don't forget, whatever you're dealing with, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And if you want a copy of a book that could fill you up, it's People Fuel, Dr. John Townsend, and 1-800-NEW-LIFE to get it. Now, come join us for this next program. Here's the number, 1-800-229-3000. John will be on that program too. So will Larry and Dave. I'll be there too.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.